today from the Midwest where I reside. Nice day out today. Anyways, I just wanted to talk in these forecasts today. A second here. Adjust this. Eek. Anyways, just want to talk today about mortgage brokers versus bankers. Now, I have a lot of experience being a mortgage broker, so it's pretty much nothing I don't know in commercial residential. But the thing is that banks are slow, and banks you have to have perfect credit scores, usually 680 or high, 720 or higher, just to get a residential or a commercial loan. Square, perfect square. Mortgage brokers got a lot of flexibility, and with that being the case, you've got a lot of cool things that you can do. And being a mortgage broker, they're faster and they've got more loan products than banks. And anybody that asks, they talk about loans, like I was in the gym the other day, I'll tell them, go to mortgage brokers before you go to a bank. Mortgage brokers will kill them all day. Here are examples and stuff just right out of the gate. I got one lender that doesn't advertise, and they do stated loan programs, okay, mostly commercial, but they'll do houses. They go up to 75% loan to value. You have to have a 650 score, 30-year amortization, no income verifications, tax returns, pay stubs, seasoning. You go to 100,000 to 5 million. So that's their kind of their sweet pocket. But that's one example commercial use. But also, in addition to that, they can do stuff other people can't because they got private side. If you don't know who they are, you'll never find them. J stuff that just came out, which is it's not too old, but they've got pretty low rates. And just things you can do from an FHA. Scores can be lower, but you still can go ahead and get it knocked out. Funder I've got in California that's licensed in most of the states. But I'm just saying to you, FHA is not bad. The big thing is just the appraisal. Now, thing is that some banks can do VA and FHA, but a mortgage broker is going to be better to doing it. Like there's one mortgage broker, it's pretty good size, and they're 20 states, I think. Veteran loans, they just work pretty much just doing that. Even though they're kind of limited, they have their own real estate and insurance arms and all that. But for a mortgage doc loan, 3.5% down, the FHAs are good. But where the mortgage broker really kills it over the banks, and why it's so much better, is that they can do the subprime or the non-prime or the alt-A type of loans now, which they've been doing for a while. There's no doc. They're stated. There are zero down loans, but you got to have reserve and assets. Score's got to be higher than it was, but there's some loans that they have right now, like a Fannie Mae 3%. The problem is that 90+% of all the loans now, essentially what is, they're all government backed, but there's a lot of equity funds, mortgage, nice to rephrase that, funds and hedge funds and advisory groups that are putting money out. Now, there are banks in the back end that will buy paper, the secondary market, so they'll do that. So there's some pretty cool, like I said, stated, no doc type of deals, the zero down loans, 80/20s, that you can do it. But this is where it really gets cool, is that I've got funders right now, some funders, even at commercial loans, not so much residential anymore, but there are coming back. There's a few residential lenders that do it, where they'll do carrybacks. Mortgage brokers can do this. Banks cannot. Banks are very limited on the loans they can do because most of the banks portfolio their mortgages. And if it's a credit union or a small bank, a lot of times they're going to go ahead. They're not going to portfolio the loans unless the credit union is really big or the small bank has got some juice behind them. But most of them are going to go and sell their stuff in the secondary market. So they've got a hedge fund, or they've got a Bank of America or Chase or P&B Bank, something in the back doing it. But why the mortgage broker is better, why they're way better, is that they can go ahead and they can do basically the A type of stuff, the vanilla loans. They can do the alternate type of loans, the government loans, and then they can do the non-prime, which is the subprime loans. So the thing is, they've got access to a lot more juice than what you've seen before. Sorry, I'm kind of looking at my phone here, but they're doing a lot more juicy stuff. So there's more stuff that they can do, that they can make things happen as far as that goes. And why I'm bringing this up is that um, essentially you need to look at that if you got financing, because now you can go, and especially in the last 2 years, you can get down to a 580 score. Some will go to a 550. You can get finance. And also, too, not in the city areas where it's hot in the east and west coast, but if you live in the southwest, the Midwest, the southeast, there's some cities where are pretty hot. They got pockets: Chicago, Atlanta, Nashville. But there are some lenders that'll do carrybacks. Okay, a mortgage broker can do this. You're not going to find it with a bank. So banks are limited. I tell you to stay away from the banks. Now, if you're a hitter and you're a multimillionaire or a billionaire, let's just say you're a multimillionaire, you can go to a bank, get a credit line, and work it that way. Or if you want, you can go ahead and they will give you loans if you're buying commercial buildings or apartment buildings. Now, I agree with Grant Cardone 1,000%. Apartment buildings are the way to go. I've owned apartment buildings, me and some other relatives. We've owned them. We turned them into condominiums and flipped them. We had mortgage brokers do it because we were mortgage brokers, realtors, real estate agents, excuse me. Sorry, that's a NAR term. Now, Association of Realtors, they have to pay for that. But that's another story. So as being a mortgage broker, when you talk to them, you're going to have more leverage if your credit isn't as good and you don't have the scores. And they've got a lot more juice. Now, there are some bankers around where I'm at that are banks, and they try to play it off. There's some kind of mortgage broker, but they're a mortgage banker, and they still have limited stuff they can do. They can do more stuff in more states. Most mortgage brokers are less than 10 people. Okay, the ins and outs, all the different loans. In other words, going to know the non-prime, which is the subprime, the alternate A type of stuff, and most of the vanilla stuff. A lot of stuff's vanilla. Let me give you an example. This is one funder I have where I'll just read the other day. You can have FICO scores from 500 plus, which I was saying before, you can go under 550. But loan programs, 9 to 24 months. This is hard money. I love hard money because I can do seller carrybacks. So I'm going to get into that in detail in another broadcast. But I'm doing seller carrybacks and things, ways you can work it. This is real juice, things you can do, and I'll get the ins and outs. Since I was in real estate and mortgage brokerage for over 25 years, and I've sold thousands and thousands of properties, I've done thousands and thousands of loans. I know what I'm talking about because I do residential, commercial, and I've owned tons of properties. So you're talking from an expert here that can get you scored away. Also, too, basically property types, you can go to 1 to 100 units. So let's say you're buying a building or whatever. You can go. Grant Cardone had a thing the other day where he talked about crypto versus basically buying real estate. I like real estate because you can hold on to it. I know a lot of people own crypto. I didn't buy any because I still don't trust it as much, but it's there. I've got one of fix and flip. They've changed this now. This has changed over the last year and a half to 90% LTV of an acquisition. So you can buy it for this, get it for this, and flip it. 100% of rehab, up to 75% ARV. Rates starting at 7.25%. That's super low. When I started in 95, a long time back, I mean, rates were 8, 9, 10, 14%. Refi as low as 7.75, 7.5. And it depending on what you're doing. But you got some commercial deals where you can get 4.99%. Now, a bank sometimes will be able to give you special rates on a loan if you've been there a while. And they will go ahead and they'll do that. There are some deals where you can get that. Another example of a rate, basically, another just a program, a no-doc program highlights starting at 4.375%. FICO down to 620, low, 5-1, 7-1 arms, 30-year fix, 100 units. So if you're buying apartment buildings, that rocks. LTV's up to 85%. So 15% down. This under 2, You can do a carryback at 25% or 30% if you can get basically a seller to do it. In a lot of parts of the U.S., the Southwest, Midwest, Southeast, there's a lot of rural counties where you're going to have a hell of a time finding those because they're available. You're not going to find them in the big city areas, but you can find them. Okay. And there's people out there to do it. It's just kind of depending on where you go. But there's a lot of money to be made there doing carrybacks. That's why I'm telling you this now. But I'm saying to you is that with a mortgage broker, you have a lot of access to a lot of different type of money available that people are lending because they're going back more subprime now. It's better for you. Now, a lot of banks in the secondary markets where they bond out and they control the paper, they lend a lot of money, but they do it through subsidiaries. Bank of America does it. U.S. Bank does it. U.S. Bank, they lie about a lot of stuff. And they don't tell you the deal, but they do a lot of secondary. Bank of America, Chase, PNC, PNB, Deutsche Bank used to do quite a bit, but they're not doing as much as they used to. You've got a bunch of other regional banks, central bank. Central bank's big in the Midwest. They cover a lot of states. They're a big bank, but they've kind of got a weird system. But they do a lot of secondary market stuff. Now, as a bank, I wouldn't want to go in there and talk to them anything unless you've got a lot of money, millions and millions in the bank, where they can give you the credit lines and that. Go to a mortgage broker. You can just kill it. And there's a lot of ways you can fund deals. And so, Grant Cardone, when he goes, he's doing generics when he talks about it. That's why I like listening to him so much, because he owns $4 billion plus worth of $4 billion plus of real estate. I just saw something the other day where he's buying this other property in Fort Lauderdale. It was totally mint. It was like probably 275 million or whatever, but he's looking at the big picture. But finance is easy for him because he's got the money and the income to do it. He's got so much cash flow coming in. So your goal is if you can buy your first one, you're good. That's a 5-unit plus. I got something the other day, Seattle, where I'm from originally. I get stuff from them all the time from realtors up there. Sent me one of 11-story apartment building downtown, and the cap rate was 4.375. Oh, yeah, it was about 4.5%. So it's about right. And there was 11 units going for $5 million, $5.5 million, somewhere in there. No, it's $4.5 million, excuse me. But it was right in that area, 4.5 to 5 million. So the prices have gone up because there's only so much available. But if you went down the road into Pierce County and you go further down to Thurston County, or you go further up out of Seattle to Puget Sound, you go further up towards Skagit County, passing there. Portland, same way. East Portland, there's deals right now, even though areas had problems, but there's still West Portland too. You further down, you go down I-5, down towards California border, more deals. Where I'm at in the Midwest, Lake of the Ozarks, 12 miles this way, Jeff City, Columbia, St. Louis is 3 hours, Kansas City's 3 hours, Nashville is about 7 or 8, Chicago is about 8.5, Memphis is about 6. So you got all these places you can go. Indianapolis is 6 hours. There are all the deals there. Okay, there's a lot of deals that you can finance. So I mean, you get a good mortgage broker in one of these areas. Talk to them. Sometimes the best, if you have a mortgage broker, it's also a real estate agent. That's the one I would tell you to hit because they're going to know both sides of it. They're going to know the commercial. They're going to know the residential. They're gonna know the deals and all that. So, with that being the case, it's a good thing because you can totally work those angles. Sorry, I'm looking at something here. Anyways, but I'm just saying to you that let's see here. A second here. Sorry. Got to do this real quick. Okay. So anyways, back to what I was saying before. Excuse me. Anyways, back to what I was saying before. The mortgage broker rate. So the thing is, mortgage brokers, let's go over this. So 1, they're faster than banks. 2, they usually have a lot more experience than the person at the bank. They're better. 3, they have a lot more lending programs that they can go to. 5, more personalized service. 6, they have better access to the underwriters. Okay, that's a big deal. 7, even though the mortgage company essentially is a broker, generally this is a big deal. The appraisers are about 1,000 times better than the ones the banks use. There's always been a problem with this, especially in high end areas. This is a big deal, monster deal. So it's just out of control. Anyways, 8. They're also too faster. They can move through faster times. So a bank will take a while, and mortgage broker can fly through it pretty quick. 10, the big thing is you make sure you have your paperwork together, your W-2s or your tax returns for 2 years. Commercial is going to be a different deal. Your bank statements, if you're getting any type of alimonies or any monies from a trust fund or whatever, make sure you have all that together when you go to a mortgage broker. So they can put together a package. It'll go faster, and that's what they usually do. Banks, they do piecemeal stuff. Mortgage broker usually will put it together before they submit it. Some mortgage brokers will put most of it together except for the appraisal, title, insurance, and they have it through and then wait for the appraisal to knock it out. Appraiser's a big deal, though. That's an issue that's come up a lot in the last 6 years, 7 years after the 2008 crisis, and that's just a major issue. Commercial is a little bit different than residential. Commercial, you got to pay for that up front, and it depends on the size of the property. It could be $1,000 up to $10,000, $20,000 in appraisal. I've had appraisals easily $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 that for loans. I still do commercial loans, so that's the deal. But anyways, just let you know, you can go to Prime. Right now, I'm putting up a new site for Nick's Forecast and .com. There'll be leasefunds.com. I'll get into that one of these days here real quick. And also proofoffunds.net. Right now, Prime Capital Management Inc.com is down below here. Right now, things we're doing right now is we're doing commercial loans, also lease funds if you want to lease equipment, great for tax write-offs. If you want trucks, computers, tractors, trailers, whatever. And so also too, we'll do business loans. We have a lot of access to a lot of business loans, a lot of money. Also, proof of funds are making a comeback. We've been doing proof of funds for about 18 years. Proof of funds, though, is a whole different ball of wax. For serious investors, we'll do $5 million to $50 million, but that's a whole different game right there. And those for real experienced investors know what they're doing. We have a lot of access to a lot of hedge funds and stuff like that. They'll do stuff. And also, too, we do have a special program that I'll talk about here in the near future. But this is for the real serious investors. You got to start out $250,000 plus, but I won't really get into it right now. But it's a good program. So, anyways, let me know if you need anything. We can help you. Go to that web address, or you can also Prime Capital Management Inc.com. It's down in the bottom. And then also, too, you can get a hold of me at nicksforecast@gmail.com. And anyways, like I said before, I'm going to keep doing more stuff. I'm going to talk about, this is my third broadcast, is the first one live. I'm going to be talking more stuff here in the future about real estate agents and mortgage brokers, different aspects of marketing, some cool programs you guys can do in some of your cities to work it. Tax sales. I'm going to really get into that. There's all this stuff because the mortgage and real estate brokerage industry is so vast. And I'm a big proponent of Grant Cardone because he's one of the few guys out there that's actually doing it, and he knows what he's talking about, and he's rich enough. The guy just bought a 650 ER jet from General Dynamics. Gulfstream is really awesome. This 700 just came out with a test flight a little while ago. The 650, it's about $100 million jet, probably. It's between 80 and 100 million. You got to put down a $5 million non-refundable deposit, but it's pretty cool. They showed pictures of it a couple weeks ago. We had it. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of Grant Cardone because he's one of the few that actually knows what the hell he's talking about. And then I'm going to get into stuff about helping real estate agents and mortgage brokers and people, common person out there is trying to buy real estate, and how there's ways you can get it. And I'll give you an example, like in a tax sale. I got a few years ago. for 900 bucks, $1,000, and now it's worth right now it's worth 150. I've got other tax sale stuff that we bought for 600 bucks, 700 bucks. Now it's gone up about 6 figures. So you're talking 100x plus on each of these properties. And so I'm talking to you I'm going to give you ways and explain to you how that works. And there are properties out there you can buy. Like last year and the year before in Indianapolis, the tax sales, they had 25 pages of tax sales. Kansas City was about the same. St. Louis, Nashville was about 15. But I mean, there's all this stuff out there. But also, too, there's all these deals you can get buying apartment buildings. And this is what I love, because apartment buildings rock. And apartment buildings, there are good deals. Commercial buildings, don't buy raw land unless you're going to build on it right away. Don't ever buy it. If it's got property on it with structures, then buy it. Otherwise, don't ever buy raw land unless you're going to do it. Unless it's waterfront property, you're going to flip, or you're going to go ahead and you're going to build something right away. And a lot of times in the West Coast, East Coast, that's usually the case. When people flip land, it's kind of like when Bezos was going to buy Paul Allen's passed away from estate, was a $75 million property, $80 million area. I think it was down, I don't know if it was towards Malibu on the 101. But anyways, you're going to buy this property, ended up not buying it. So, but that's a build property, but down there, the land's, you can't find any up and down. You got to go up further up the coast. And even icy, but anyways, but back to the mortgage broker versus the mortgage banker, the banks. Go to your mortgage broker. They have way more deals, better deals, and you're good to go. If you have a real estate agent or a mortgage broker that does both, that's even better for you, because they can control the deal. I was always so when I did a deal, for me, it was a lot different than what you see out there, a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, because one deal for me might be 2, 4, 6, 8 sides on one deal. So that puts me in a whole different league than everybody else. And so what I'm saying to you is, because I've been through the highlight film a bunch, and I had some ownership in a mortgage broker's company, I already know what's sense, because we used to hold money and change it and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyways, so you know where to go. As this is my first live broadcast, I'll be doing a lot more. And I'm here to help you make money and help you to build. So anyways, you guys have a great day. Next forecast.